OKC and the Rockets, they needed 10 extra minutes to ring in the new season. See what we did there?
Yeah,
OKC
that was great.
Getting their rings. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and company receiving their rings, raising that championship banner before their game. And we welcome back our new colleagues over at NBC as well. So we're going to pick this one up late because this was a good one. Just under 2 to play in the fourth here, Chiney. The Thunder down by 1. SGA, this is where he did his damage, the fourth quarter and overtime.
You can't leave that man in single coverage on that side of the floor. That's his money shot. He's going to lull you to sleep and knock it down. You see that little shove? It's beautiful.
And by the way, passes Kevin Durant for fourth most 20-point consecutive games here with 73. But Houston, next possession, they are a problem.
And you see Baby Jokic with that feathery touch, that nice little jump hook.
Rockets, though, they have a foul to give here. SGA dribbles it up, hits the jumper with 2 seconds
over
left.
Amen Thompson.
Another
This is one of the best defenders you could ever dream to have on him, and he just smoothly beat him.
So you would have said foul, or because SGA, that's a little bit dangerous. Ime Udoka is saying maybe, just know that we had a foul to give there. So let's go to overtime here, Chiney. 2 minutes left in the first overtime here. Amen Thompson would go down and leave the game with cramps. The Rockets are saying, though, it's not that serious.
Yeah, but this was a big play right here. Jabari Smith, we're going to look to his development this year. With fewer shooters, with Fred VanVleet out, he's got a knockdown shot.
All right, so a 2-point game.
Look at Steven Adams clearing out that traffic.
Gets inside, we'll follow it as a miss.
Don't put Caruso on Şengün. That's my assessment.
Yeah,
all right, game all tied up at 1:15 here. Kevin Durant, though, was he calling for a timeout? Şengün saying, no, you weren't. No, you weren't. We don't have one of those. Mark Daigneault
called timeout.
Mark Daigneault is saying Kevin Durant called a timeout here, furious because it would have been a technical if it was awarded, but the officials didn't see it. So to a second overtime we go, Chiney.
Free basketball and more free buckets for SGA.
SGA, another mid-range jumper, game all tied at 122. 15 seconds left here. The Rockets down 1. Alperen Şengün gets it inside. Phenomenal from him. Finishes this one. The Rockets take a 1-point lead.
With the left, the side step.
Oh, this got me out of my seat, out of my chair. You've got the mid-range
master at work.
monsters.
That's a master at work.
Thank you.
SGA gets Durant in the air on that foul. That was Durant's 6th of the game.
These are the matchups you want. You don't run for the smoke. KD did a great job defending, but then gotcha with the okie doke foul.
And then this is what SGA does. Sends him to the free throw line. So Jabari Smith Jr. tries the corner 3. It was online. Just couldn't quite get it to go. Here's SGA after the win.
Mess-ups and the scripts and the mistakes always hurt more than a loss, so we have to be humble enough to realize we need to get better, even though we still won. It was ugly tonight, but I'd rather be ugly in a win than a loss for sure. We need to get better. That's probably the biggest thing tonight. Like, I need to be better. The group needs to be better. If we want to do what we just did again.
Perk, I'm only a little disappointed you didn't show up in that matching headband vest combo that SGA was rocking.
I got about 30 more pounds to go before I can start showing off these arms. We talk about all the bigs in the world, right? Şengün, Giannis, Jokic, and rightfully so. But then all of a sudden, Chet Holmgren is the forgotten. And then he reminded us last night in that first half how he went to work. I mean, he was deep in his bag like he had waffle fries at the bottom, inside out. And when you talk about how unique he is as far as his skill set, that's why they're able to mix it up. Sometimes they go big with him and Isaiah Hartenstein on the floor because Chet's ability to knock down the tray ball. He's 2 for 5 from the 3 last night. But last night, even over KD in the first quarter, he was giving the shimmy shake, over right, over left shoulders, the step backs off the dribble. It's just, he's
Never
like
had
that.
It in my bag. Not in my bag. My bag's very shallow. You know whose bag's not shallow?
Who?
How about the MVP?
Yeah.
Because Shai was having what I would call a below-average game for him for 3 quarters. He was taking a lot of threes, which is not his game. He was missing them all. Then the fourth quarter came. My God, was he impressive. We saw some of these plays where he made in isolation, where he just got the Rockets players on his hip. He beat 3 different guys here. That's Jabari Smith. He's over Amen Thompson. And because he was beating Jabari Smith again, because he was beating those guys so much, that's why Durant was up on top of him at the last play at the end. So he goes for 24 points in overtime and in the fourth quarter and makes so many crucial baskets. Houston was throwing haymakers in this game, and Shai was catching them and throwing them right back. Incredibly impressive performance from the MVP last night.
Yeah, the Oklahoma City Thunder, their superpower is also their depth. They got 36 bench points, but they have a superhero, and that is absolutely Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Look at the splits between the first 3 quarters and the fourth and overtime. 11 points, 5 for 12, compared to 50% shooting, 24 points, 9 for 12 from the free throw line. I know some pained him, and no turnovers. This is a guy that last year was number 2 in overall mid-range points. He loves to cook. Send the help. You can't leave him in isolation. It doesn't matter if Jabari Smith is 6'11". What does he do? He creates separation. He gets you going one direction so he can get elevation on his shot. You see the nice little shove, the legal shove, and then beautiful form. Even though the contest is there, it does not matter. That is his money shot. Now, another possession that led to my coach, Ime Udoka, a little bit of his crash out, right, was this right here. This is now in transition. Amen Thompson is excellent as a defender, someone that will say probably will win a Defensive Player of the Year before he's done. Right here, there's no contact. This is his move. He loves that flick of the wrist, tempo, dribble to his left. You've got to force him right, or you've got to send the help early, because the help came too late. There, the hands are down, no one's around, there is no one crowding, and then this is just a layup for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. The first 3 quarters kind of was quiet. The depth did the work, but then you allowed time for him to cook, and he reminded everyone who he is.
Yeah, and he did all of that without J-Dub, right? They're still waiting for the third member of their big 3 to come back to this already potent team. And they were doing this against a emotionally charged Houston Rockets team, right? Because this is Kevin Durant returning to the Oklahoma City Thunder. The schedule makers knew what they were doing with this one. And it wasn't Durant's best showing here, but you saw why he was brought in. He wasn't all that aggressive after the third quarter. He had more fouls. He had 4. Then he did field goal attempts in the fourth and overtime. Here's what he had to say about who's to blame for this first loss. Tough opponent, though.
I missed the free throw, and I fouled somebody at the end. Fouled Shai, put him up 1. I think those 2 plays, the reason we lost.
Is that fair to you?
Yeah. I gotta be better. I gotta knock that free throw down. I gotta stay down, be more disciplined. Those opportunities to get a stop, to seal the game, they don't come around too often, so I gotta be take more advantage of those.
So here's what we love. We love accountability. But I don't know, Chiney. I don't know if this all rests on Kevin Durant's shoulders. The Rockets went into the defending champs' territory, and it took them 2 overtimes to get the job done here. What'd you learn?
And that man who walked in, once he pulled up off the bus, he was getting booed. It did not faze him. He still had his game, Kevin Durant, which is very impressive. 23 points. You got to get that man the ball. You've got to get him looks, especially in the fourth quarter OT. Only 3 shots. That's not okay. I give them an A-, not an A+, not an A where you feel like you still got to work, because they absolutely still have to work. But right now, KD did what he does best. He was efficient, right? I want him to take over more late. Alperen Sengun. Everyone had great expectations. Worldwide Windy is here, and you talked about how the importance of off-season international basketball competition is. That guy has taken whatever he's learned from there, that experience, that poise, to this year. 39 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists. Great. They have size. This is the tallest lineup we've seen in basketball on opening night. They're only missing a point guard, a super primary ball handler. But other than that, this is a team that everyone's looking like, I don't know if it's this year, but for sure for years to come, they will be contenders.
Yeah, I want to see where the Rockets are in like 3-4 months, because I think they're going to be getting way better during the season. They're relying on some ball handlers that are not experts. Amen Thompson is very young in his point guard career.
Against a team that really turns you over as well.
For sure. And at the end of this game, because Thompson was out, Alperen Sengun was acting as their point guard. This is 6'11" Sengun having point guard. By the way, he had a size advantage. Some of the reason why he had 39 was because he was shooting over shorter guards. But that's not ideal to play that way. So the Rockets you're going to develop. I actually think Reed Shepherd is a guy who they will eventually show more faith in. It's hard to trust a guy like that. But I do think that the Rockets are going to be a much more dynamic team. Also, eventually Dorian Finney-Smith, he was a guy who would have been very valuable in this game. He's out recovering from off-season surgery. He'll eventually come back.
I'm not the one to believe that they should just go out there and just get a point guard. I believe that they have enough playmakers, right? And the only way you could learn, all our parents used to tell us, don't touch that stove, it's going to burn you, right? Eventually, we had to touch that stove.
I was the one who touched the stove.
I was one too, right? But again, that was that moment. You go in one of the toughest environments, toughest arenas in the NBA. You're playing against the champs, and you're playing in a you know, back-to-back type moment, back-to-back, back-and-forth type moment, and that's the only way to learn, right? Is learn and play through your mistakes. And so I believe Amen Thompson, Reece Shepherd, after watching film, they're going to get better. We're going to see a better two-man game between Alfred Sengun and Kevin Durant. So I'm with you. In 3 or 4 months, then let's have a conversation.
You don't think they need a point guard? You think that they?
I mean, Amen Thompson been a point guard his entire life. I just say let him play.
But this is the issue, though.
Yeah.
They were not guarding him when he was shooting threes, and that is a liability. Once he knocks down shots, and they'll really be rocking.
Right, because they do need to make things
Unintended.
easier on Kevin Durant. All right.